Fais doucement, je reste sur des listes.
This way, this way.
Bonjour, this is Jasmine. Thank you so much for stopping to smell the roses on Rue Madame. For those of you who are new to the neighborhood, I'm a writer, a storyteller, and a community builder. I write about culture, politics, parenthood, and my life here in France. And this episode of Rue Madame is about a bit of my life here in France. This past week, we went to the south of France. It's not really the south. We went near Bordeaux, which is southwest, but like near the middle. And we had a wonderful time. It was a much needed time away from home, away from la région parisienne. And we just went to the beach and had a lot of fun just relaxing and having a bit of quiet time in the countryside of France. And it was kind of like a long road trip because I felt like we were on the road more than anything. And I'm always interested in seeing more of France outside of the Paris bubble because Paris is very, how do you say, dense, and all of the action, all of the history, all of everything seems to navigate or is attracted to this center nucleus of this country. And I don't think, I don't know, I feel like you get a bad sense of the country if you are only looking at Paris, because Paris is like the biggest city, it's the capital, all of that. But if you go to other regions, you find the nuggets, the gems that you really don't see a lot of, because you only see mostly, generally speaking, the Eiffel Tower and that I was going to say Arc de Triomphe and the Seine and just Paris. But the beaches in the south of France and on the west coast where we were before, where I was telling you that we went to Caen and Deauville and all of these Normandy villages and cities. But in the south, it was pretty identical. And that's what we were talking about, my husband and I, when we were, on the road, and I was trying to keep him awake. We were just talking about how it's a lot of farm and bareness. There's not a lot of activity really between the big cities, if you know what I mean, because you have big cities in the west, south, east, everywhere. But in between those cities, it's pretty inactive. And you have a lot of green spaces. It's very beautiful. And since France is a pretty, how do you say, has a long history. And it's pretty, I hate to say ancient because it's still a modern country, obviously. But you get the charm and the quaintness of the old buildings. You have a lot of old like barns that are kind of like vacant and just there. They kind of remind you of the ruins of of France. These small shack stone buildings that lay on prairie lands. And you see a lot of that when you're going through and winding through the small, narrow spaces in the country land. But yeah, we went to a small city down there named Mouchon, and we were staying near a church. And what I learned that I didn't know before is that the church bells ring all night long. And I didn't know that. Well, my husband knew, but I guess we didn't know that we would be staying near a church and it would be that close. But every half hour, there were church bells ringing. And it got, it needed to get accustomed to that. But after the first day, it was nothing. And it was like, oh, okay. It's 7:30? And you would think like after midnight or 10 o'clock or whatever, they would stop. And then, they would start up 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning, or I don't know when. But no, it was through the night, because there was one night I didn't sleep. I think it was the first night that we got there. I didn't sleep like consistently through the night. So I was up like 3-4 o'clock in the morning and just sitting in bed, and I heard church bells like still, and I was like, oh my God. But yeah, it was pretty nice. And one of the things that I noticed, because you get bread everywhere. If you're in France and if you don't find your closest boulangerie, it's kind of like, I don't know, not it's just accustomed to know where your bakery is. So we found the closest bakery. It wasn't far, walking distance. And I noticed there was like a sesame seed on the baguettes. I know this is very minor, but if you're accustomed to the baking and the bakery and the pastries here, you get very picky and particular about what you like, what you don't like, what you're used to, what's good quality bread. I know it's like that. But yeah, that's one of the discoveries of the bread in the southwest, the middle part of France, that each bakery we went to, there was a little, and it was the tradition, which I'll probably do a whole nother video on the different types of baguettes, because there's not just one. But la tradition is the one that has a thicker grain. It's I don't know how to explain it, but a regular baguette is lighter and longer, and I'm assuming it doesn't require as much cooking time. But anyways, that was a part of our trip that was interesting. But yeah, the kids had fun. We had fun. We went to the beach several times, and it wasn't incredibly hot, but it was warm enough where we can like put our feet in the water. And of course, my son got, drenched, because he didn't know, you can go in the water, but only so far, and don't let it go past your knees, because, but no, that didn't work out that way. But at least we had a change of clothes. But yeah, it was a nice, escapade, a nice getaway. But the icing on the cake is that I have a week of solitude and calm and peace after we got back, which was 2 days ago. And now the kids are visiting their grandparents, which I'm so, so grateful for. I have a time, like this morning, I was able to sleep in and I wasn't interrupted. Like sometimes I get to sleep in with the kids, but I'm always like interrupted no matter what. But I wasn't interrupted. My husband and I, we went biking today, and we spent an hour and a half, no kids. It's just like lovely. And this morning, I really didn't even know what to do with myself. Like I didn't have to get up and make breakfast for anybody. And it just feels weird to be able to complete a full thought without being interrupted. Like, that's parenting. That's parenting 101. If you want to like complete a full thought, complete a full sentence, have conversations without being interrupted, that's not something that really happens when you are a mother of multiples. So that's a pleasant thing. And I don't know, I get to exhale. And it's only day 2, so I have until Friday, Saturday. I'm so happy. But yeah, and I get to just like not hear chaos all the time. And it just feels weird. Like, I don't even know what calm is anymore. So when it's here, it's kind of like eerie, a eeriness to it. But it's so pleasant. It's so pleasant. And the first thing I did when the kids were off and away is I got my hair done, which is another like normal, regular thing that becomes like an adventure, becomes like a whole like event when you have kids. But since they're not here for a couple of days, I was able to like pamper myself with just like going to the salon, and it was really quick. It was faster than I expected. It took an hour, which was probably even longer because the person who was doing my hair was like doing stuff. So it was really quick. I was so happy. And like I said, we have a curfew here in France. I know. And it's still at 6:00. So you have to be indoors by 6:00. So I was able to get in, get out, and make it home before, the curfew. So that was pleasant. What else we do this weekend and over our trip? It was just a lot of kid stuff, going to the park, going to the beach. And I was telling my husband, like, a vacation when you have children, maybe not with one child, maybe with one child, you can, it's not like a job, but with kids, even on vacation, it's like a job. It's work. So even when you're supposed to be relaxing and, taking a load off, it's kind of like going on a work trip. And work trips are always more fun than just going to the office and coming back home. So I guess even though it was a work, family, fun outing, vacation, it was still very pleasant. Yeah, that was our weekend cap. And I got to read. I'm getting accustomed to my tablet. It's not a tablet, it's a Kindle. My Kindle tablet, which is really convenient and light, and it works really well. Like, before I was against the tablets. Like, I like paper. I like books that are like real, and I'm old fashioned in that sense. But the tablet is good too because it has a dictionary on it, so I get to I love looking up words, so that's fun to do on the Kindle. In the book Luster, I'm going to do a thorough recap of where I am so far in the book, and that's going to be over on Patreon. So sign up for the book club and get that extra bonus content on Patreon. But yeah, that is the whole wrap for this past week and why I've been away. And thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.